Here's a healthcare story that unfortunately is far too common in America. So you don't hear much about this from the media at all. Media ignores stories like this because to them, it's not even really a story. It's called Tuesday. This happened. We could go on one road in America that has 20 houses, and probably 3 of those people have a story exactly like this. But it's noteworthy. And this person who spoke up did something that's actually pretty courageous. So let me show you here. This is Lori, Lori. Her Twitter handle is at @iCounterSpin. And it says the following. I'm in tears. My husband is so sick. Our debt costs more than we make each month. And here's the best, cheapest plan available to me to keep my husband alive this coming year. There's no way I can afford this. No way. And then she shows the details of the plan that's available to her, the best plan that's available to her, by the way. And look, you see a monthly premium of $1,549.91, a deductible of $13,000, and an out-of-pocket maximum of $16,300. Let me ask you a question. How many people, what percentage of people you know have $16,300 laying around? My generation has like no savings. The millennial generation has like nothing in savings. 78% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. 78%. That's basically 8 out of 10 live paycheck to paycheck. I'm speechless. This is the best plan that they offer. It's $18,600 a year for the premium, and with the deductible of $13,000. Guys, I know that this is just Tuesday in America, but it shouldn't be. So this is a story that deserves attention, and this is a story that's only going to get attention from people like you and from shows like mine covering it. It's not going to, CNN is not going to talk about this. MSNBC is not going to talk about this. Fox News is not going to talk about this. The nightly news is not going to talk about this. Just so you know, they view poverty as like a personal failing, like an individual failing. Like, oh, you're just not of sufficiently moral character. You didn't work hard enough. And if you respond to them, well, no, I actually work a full-time job. Like, oh, we'll get a better one. You see their perception of the system? It's that the system is pristine and you need to try to fit yourself into that system. And if you can't do it in a way that's beneficial to you, that's your problem. Our perception is the opposite. Our perception is the system should be crafted to meet the needs of the people. If the system is above us and all these people are struggling to find their little spot in that system, well, doesn't that system just suck because it's not doing its job? Shouldn't the whole point of any system be to meet the needs of the people in an efficient and effective way? It's like, again, they view it as a personal failing. Oh, you're poor? Oh, you don't have good health care? What'd you do wrong? Oh, that's not the way that makes sense. Guys, other developed countries don't have to deal with this. We spent $7 trillion in Iraq when all is said and done by the year 2053. That's when you add the interest on as well. $7 trillion. And we can't afford Medicare for all? Nobody batted an eyelash on the cost of the Iraq war. Nobody even talked about the cost of the Iraq war. They just said, it's a moral necessity, we have to do it. Now, of course, it wasn't a moral necessity, but it shows you that if they think something is a moral necessity, then they just do it. So why are they not doing that for healthcare? Because they don't care. They have good healthcare. They don't care that you don't. Oh my God. $7 trillion in Iraq, at least $2 trillion in Afghanistan, $14 trillion bailout of Wall Street. This is where we're squandering everything. But regular people who will go bankrupt from healthcare bills, they get nothing. They get nothing. 500,000 bankruptcies every year from healthcare bills. 30,000 to 45,000 deaths from lack of health care every year. And this isn't treated like the moral emergency that is. That's what this is, guys. This is a moral emergency. By the way, show this story, what I just laid out for you, the facts about the only plan she could get, the cheapest plan. Show this to an Australian. Show it to a Canadian. Show it to somebody in the UK. Show it to somebody in France. They'll be mortified. And we know, we just saw a viral video. We just covered a viral video of exactly that. People in the UK are like, what? It costs that much to have a baby? They're like, it doesn't compute. They thought, oh, how much does it cost when an ambulance picks you up? The person's like, how much does it cost for an ambulance? That's free. They're like, no, it's actually $2,500. They're like, what? What? Why? What? They think we're morons. Actually, that's not fair. Maybe some of them think we're morons. Some of them think we're victims of a terrible system that's screwing all of us. But either way, they're like, this is wild. So this is just one story. I could come out on this show every single day and give you 1,000 stories comparable to this. Matter of fact, put your disastrous healthcare story in the video description box. And perhaps I'll tweet this segment and I'll say, everybody read the comments, because there's a lot of nightmare stories in the video description box with our healthcare system. I've told mine a few times, but my dad was experiencing back pain, and he didn't have insurance. So he decided, let me go the cheaper route, and I'm going to go to a chiropractor. And in his mind, he thought chiropractor equals straight up doctor. So he's like, I'll go the cheaper road. I'll go to the chiropractor and get it fixed there. So the chiropractor does this, fancy schmancy back cracking on my dad, and tells him after every session, hey man, keep coming back. We'll get this kink knocked out. Just keep coming back, keep coming back, keep coming back. The back pain kept getting worse and worse and worse. My dad kept going back to the chiropractor. Eventually, he couldn't take the pain anymore, and one night he had to go to the emergency room. When he went to the emergency room, they did an x-ray and found that back pain that he was experiencing for over a year was cancer. It started in his lungs and it metastasized to his spine. It was stage 4 cancer, and he needed immediate surgery. Again, he didn't have health care, which is why he hesitated so long to go to the doctor in the first place, and why he went to the cheaper direction, which is a chiropractor, which he was uneducated about. Again, he didn't know that that's not like a doctor. He didn't know that it's like a glorified back cracker. So he had the surgery done, and then he died like 2 weeks later. It was too late. It had spread too far. The cancer had spread too far. And, if we had a Medicare for all system, and if my dad could have just gone to the actual doctor, I'm just guessing here, but I'm pretty sure he would have done it, and I'm pretty sure they would have caught the cancer earlier. So it's the fact that he didn't have health care, and the fact that he didn't have the money he wanted to go save by going to the chiropractor. All that added up, and my dad ended up passing away at the age of 56 when I was just 23 years old. This was back in 2011. So that's my healthcare story in this country. And it's funny because I didn't even connect the dots until much later on. It was actually my brother-in-law who was like, you do know your dad is one of the people in that statistic that I always bring up, the 30 to 45,000 deaths from not having healthcare. I was like, oh my God, he's right. That is kind of what that is. Again, we don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. Don't mention anything about the rising. But, I think it's likely he would have went to the normal doctor if he could have just gone and it would have been free. So anyway, that's my terrible healthcare story. I also have other stories of there being a lapse in my insurance because they messed up and they weren't deducting the amount that they were supposed to deduct, and there was a whole mess up, and because and I hate this so much, every year you have to re-up your insurance. Like, what What is this? I have to, every year you want me to pick from like 13 different terrible plans. Like, oh, please pick, as if like I want to go shopping for health insurance. No, if I'm sick, I want help. That's the end of the conversation. I don't want to go through, oh, what does this one cover? Does this one cover my spleen? Like what? Stop. I don't care about any of that. Why every year I got to go back? And even if you have an employer and you get your insurance through your employer, they have to do it every year and they have to run it through you. Oh, do you like this plan? You want the same plan? Just get rid of the middleman. Just get rid of that unnecessary for-profit middleman, which complicates everything, gives insane paperwork to doctors. Just get rid of it. But I forgot where I was going with that, but it doesn't matter. All the information's out there. That's my terrible healthcare story. I've told it before on the show. And, you know, now you see another one here. Who knows what's going to end up happening with this poor woman? Who knows? You know, I wish we could all tell her everything's going to be all right. But oftentimes it's not in this system. So we need to get a Medicare for all system. Listen, people love to slam purity tests. Perhaps if we all had a purity test and we enforced it, my father would be alive and the 45,000 others who died because they didn't have health care would be alive. So maybe sometimes purity tests are a good thing.